Hey, I'm Fight the Flat Earth. Welcome back to the channel that didn't trip stupidity down the stairs. Honest. This is day 5 of my 5k sub celebration week, and once again, the Flerfs write my content for me. A lot of the time, some flat earthers don't really come to my attention until they do a video about me. We're up to 59, by the way. Validation Boy is a flat earther that I've not really heard about before, and for some reason, he thought that he would bring himself to my attention. That seems like a really stupid thing to do, and I advise that you guys watch this video all the way until the end.
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Okay, let's get straight into this. Now, Validation Boy has a lot of videos that say a whole bunch of stupid stuff, and I'm only one person with limited time, so I've enlisted the help of the amazing Planner Walk to tackle one of his videos.
Ahoy hoy, I'm Planner Walk. Thanks Craig for letting me on your show. Anyway, I'm going to respond to this clip by Validation Boy.
The so-called scientists of our world claim that, through their famous double-slit experiment, they possess the ability to transform solid particles into waves of energy.
First off, that's not what they say. What they do say is they say that things like photons exist as both waves and particles simultaneously. Now, having an observer present will collapse the probability wave down to a particle. One thing to note though is that an observer does not mean someone watching. An observer in this sense means an interaction with the wave.
Now, as far as I'm concerned, the only way to test the validity of such a ridiculous claim would be to isolate, observe, and record all the behaviors of a single particle within the experiment itself.
That's like saying that the only way to verify that a water molecule is made up of 2 hydrogen atoms and an oxygen atom is by saying you have to have 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom with no other atoms around, and if it creates water, then it's verified. Now, we could be wrong about what's going on in the double slit experiment, but the current hypothesis that we have for it is the best explanation for it, unless you've got a better explanation for it, in which case go ahead and publish a paper, man. Also, quantum computing takes advantage of things that we can't fully observe about particles, such as particle superpositions. As soon as you try to observe a particle superposition, it just collapses into one of 2 states. But we can make use of this superposition.
And therein lies a huge problem. There is no such thing as an isolated particle. In fact, it is impossible to isolate a single particle. We live in a material world.
'Cause we are living in a material world. Sorry.
Physical existence, or perceivable space-time, necessitates the presence of matter. Therefore, every particle of matter that exists is inherently connected to at least one other particle of matter. If a particle were to change into a wave, any observation we could make of such a phenomena would be inescapably skewed by the fact that our principal particle is attached to neighboring particles.
Not all particles have to be attached to another particle. Take a neutron, for example. Yes, it's made up of even smaller particles, but it doesn't have to be attached to any other particle. Same with an electron. Actually, there's a concept in quantum mechanics called free particles, and they are particles that are not attached to other particles. Although, I may be wrong about that. I'm no expert on quantum mechanics, and I doubt Validation Boy is an expert on quantum mechanics. Also, take a drink every time I said particle.
These neighboring particles would in some way inevitably affect the observations we made about our principal particle, thus rendering any information we might gather regarding their behaviors completely irrelevant. So when you really think about it, the theory of wave-particle duality is a total paradox. It is something that literally cannot be tested for.
Although that's what we appear to observe. When testing this, we find that if we're not observing it, we get an interference pattern. However, as soon as we begin trying to observe, it changes into just 2 lines. This indicates that it's behaving like both a particle and a wave.
In the arena of quantum mechanics, energy and matter are considered the same thing. Now, the double-slit experiment proposes the dualistic wave-particle nature of all matter, but by doing so, it also implies that any such particle which has transformed into its alleged energetic wave form must also remain finite and measurable. Otherwise, this experiment would not provide its conductor with any legitimate changes to observe. Scientists would need to be able to provide proof that a single particle has the capability of transforming from one state of being into another before claiming that all particles behave in such a manner.
So what they're saying is they're not saying that it transforms. What they're saying is that it exists as both a wave and a particle.
Nowhere in our so-called universe is there a pocket of space-time that is completely devoid of matter. Otherwise, that pocket of space-time would not exist.
How big of a pocket are we talking? Because I'm pretty sure if you zoom right down, you'll be able to find a little area, very tiny, where there is absolutely nothing. After all, atoms are mostly empty space.
Such an area, for lack of a better term, would feature no energy or matter for us to observe, and would thus be impossible for us to acknowledge as a perceivable segment of our extant reality. One may ask, could such a space be created? But the answer is no. To create is to manifest something into the parameters of space-time. We can't uncreate a space devoid of space-time.
Space-time and matter are two different things. Space-time is a field. Matter is not a field. And why are you bringing up space-time? I thought you were a flat earther. If space-time exists, then flat earth can't exist.
That would be at best a paradox, and at worst an oxymoron.
Of course it would. I'm glad you agree with me.
This of course brings us to the question of man-made vacuum chambers. Is it possible to isolate a single particle inside of a so-called vacuum? Well, what very few people know is that there is no such thing as a perfect vacuum. The vacuum chambers that big science and our governments use in their tests are all referred to as near-perfect vacuums.
Well, of course, and even if they could, there's not really much you can do to observe a particle without any other particles. He does ramble on about the impossibility of a perfect vacuum for a bit, but I'm going to skip ahead seeing as we do not need a perfect vacuum to know what particles can do.
Matter, energy, and space-time are all inescapably intertwined, and it is clear that God is responsible for this.
How about providing evidence of your God?
The omnipotence of an all-knowing creator is the only plausible explanation behind the complex existence we are experiencing.
So let me get this straight. You think that existence is too complex to exist. So you want to say that something even more complex than existence exists to create existence. That is just a complete oxymoron.
The concept of wave-particle duality is rooted in mankind's vanity. It has managed to captivate the world with its deceptive lure of godlike what-if potentiality.
That argument makes no sense. The whole what-if implies that it's useful, right? And why would they say something's useful if it doesn't even fucking exist?
But it is not the truth. It's nothing more than the temptation of the devil, incessantly tapping on your shoulder.
Is there something tapping on my shoulder? I feel like something's tapping on my shoulder. Dell, is that you?
Remember, you are living in our Holy Father's realm of creation, and there's no way around his rules.
Does that include all those rules in Leviticus, like stoning homosexuals, what you can and can't wear, what you can and can't eat? Or is that being changed? In which case, it seems that there is a way around his rules, isn't there?
All you cucked out cheerleaders for big science out there had better start getting used to it. You will not become gods. You will not upload your consciousness and cheat death. You will not escape judgment. All of your ridiculous pseudosciences are born of satanic intent, and I, for one, refuse to play your stupid game any longer.
Okay, have fun just cherry-picking science that only agrees with your worldview then. Unless you want to deny all science, in which case you might want to get off the internet. That's a discovery made by science. Anyway, thank you, Craig, for having me on. Back to you.
Now, I commented on one of his videos about how I was going to use his videos to make a video, and this was his response. If your shit is monetized and you show my work, I will be attempting a copyright strike. Use still shots to avoid this. Here's MC Toon to tell you why that is a stupid thing to say.
So I was recently watching one of Validation Boy's live streams. It was a bit dull. He didn't have anything to say. While fighting to stay awake, I was reading some of the comments when I saw an interaction between Validation Boy and Fight the Flat Earth, where Fight said, "Nice extra footage for Friday." Validation Boy had an unusual response to this. He claimed if Fight the Flat Earth video was monetized and he showed Validation Boy's work, he would file a copyright strike. So, notice this video in the corner here. I'll cover that in a bit. I was surprised at this statement from Validation Boy, considering the ramifications of filing a false copyright claim. You see, in the United States, works of commentary, criticism, research, teaching, or news reporting are usually considered fair use. The laws in the UK are similar. Filing a false copyright claim against a work falling under fair use can cost the party filing the false claim a lot. In 2016, the U.S. Ninth Circuit Court held that copyright owners must consider fair use before issuing takedown notices. Because of this, YouTube requires the rights holder to state that they have a good faith belief that the material actually infringes copyright. If a takedown is filed, YouTube expects the rights holder to file a lawsuit within a certain number of days or drop the takedown. If a lawsuit isn't filed or the claim isn't dropped, YouTube can suspend their account. Now back to this video in the corner. More than 10 years ago, Thunderfoot used content from Venom Fang X in one of Thunderfoot's videos, and Venom Fang X filed a false copyright claim against Thunderfoot. If you know who Thunderfoot is, it won't surprise you that he didn't take this lightly. In the end, Venom Fang X lost and was forced to read this heartwarming apology statement in a video. Now, part of me wants Validation Boy to file a false copyright claim and be forced to read a statement like Venom Fang X. But mostly, I'd like Validation Boy, to recognize fair use and not be a whiner. Hey, Fight the Flat Earth. Congratulations on 5,000 subs.
So, like I said, the first time I really heard about Validation Boy was when he recently did a video that was directed at me and a few other people. So, how about we have a look at that particular video then?
Hello, YouTube. Validation Boy here. No one will ever know the true shape of the Earth with absolute certainty.
Straight off the bat with a stupid fucking assumption. Yes, we know the shape of the Earth. We've known for thousands of years. We know that it's an oblate spheroid. With even the most basic research outside of your flat Earth echo rooms, you'll be able to find proof of the shape of our Earth. It's a globe. All the information that is correct comports to the reality that we live on the globe. It's an observable, testable, provable fact. There has never been any shred of evidence ever to suggest the shape of our Earth is flat. And I'm going to make a prediction right now that you won't show me any in the rest of this video.
Remember, both Flat Earth and the globe are still only theories, merely interpretations of what are ultimately entirely subjective observations.
Okay, so let's do this. I've been in a fair few debates now, and let's face it all breaks down to one thing as to whether gravity is real. Yes, it is. It is real. Absolutely. But all the Flerfs constantly cry, gravity's only a theory. Gravity's only a theory. Gravity's only a theory. Oh my god. Okay, well, have you ever heard of the oxygen theory of combustion? Works pretty well. Germ theory? So you see, in science, we use the word theory in a very different way. Gravity isn't just someone's wild theory. You can try and argue that it was just Newton's, but it's been demonstrated to be real, scientifically tested and proven to be a fact. Gravity is a fact, not just a theory. There is the theory of gravity, which is the body of evidence and observations and scientific proof that we have. Facts and observations that we can prove and bring to bear to answer the question of why things fall at 9.8 meters per second squared. There are scientists and engineers all around the world that are paid because they understand how gravity works. And I can assure you right now, they wouldn't be getting paid if they were wrong about gravity. Because gravity sits as the fundamental basis for things like our universe existing and aviation. If I'm given a choice of evidence and reason-based information from people that have spent years and years studying and testing and observing the universe to give me an answer to a question, or the other option is somebody who ignores most evidence, doesn't have any qualifications, and wants to tell me the Earth is flat, then I'm going to go with the people that actually know what they're talking about every single time, because it's been demonstrated that that is the way to go. Theory in science means it's been tested from every possible angle, and as you can see from watching people like me and others in the debunking community, we are critical people. That critical element of science is always there, because you can always level it at the cooling and say, you blew it there. And Newton did blow it on many occasions. He didn't know anything about space-time and the warping of space-time manifesting as a force within Newtonian physics. But look how beautifully it fits into his understanding of gravitational theory. Look at the predictions that we can make thanks to the theory of gravity. Gravity is a fact, not just a theory.
Because of this, there remains in perpetuity the genuine and inescapable possibility that the Earth is not a globe.
No, there isn't. Only if you're a fucking idiot that refuses to accept reality. This is where he starts to get personal.
These guys simply lack the emotional maturity necessary to accept this fact.
Emotionally mature, validation boy. Let's see how emotionally mature people think you are by the end of this video. Oh, and by the way, people can be mature and scathingly funny and intelligent at the same time. You possess none of these qualities.
As we know, flat earth deniers claim to love science because it provides them with truths. Problem is, a lot of the time, their truths are based on 100% unprovable assumptions.
An assumption would be something I can't prove. Go back from my videos and point out something that I can't prove. Go on. Dare ya.
All flat earth versus globe earth debates inevitably come down to whether or not the so-called celestial objects we see in our night sky are even objects at all. And the truth of the matter is that no one can say for sure. These lights in the sky will never be reached.
Well, they would never be reached by someone with your level of intellect, that's for sure, because I can guarantee you would not ever get into any scientific institute. We have reached the moon time and time again, and we will soon be reaching the sun. Just go and research the Parker Solar Probe.
As it stands, only totally helpless morons and blatantly sociopathic deceivers advocating for a very specific agenda have ever tried to claim otherwise.
So guys, what am I? A helpless moron or a sociopathic deceiver?
This really is all about intellectual honesty.
Yeah, thanks for calling, Doctor. Thanks. Speak to you soon. Bye. I've got some bad news, guys. That was my doctor. It appears listening to Validation Boy's voice has given me cancer and AIDS. In fact, super AIDS.
Honestly, the kind of loyalist fervor for conformist collectivism these godless NPCs have, it really is the stuff of legend.
I'm no NPC, motherfucker. I'm Fight the Flat Earth, and I'm here to give Flat Earth an arrow to the knee.
Their unwavering dedication to that whole silence the heretics gimmick that they employ, it really reminds me of some of history's, greatest utopian visionaries, if you will.
So you notice here how he's trying to take some kind of moral high ground, yet he's comparing me to Hitler.
And guess what else? These globe priests, with their inadvertent worship of the pregnant belly of Gaia, are forever inherently intertwined with every one of these antichrist authoritarian mommy state tyrants.
Yep, he definitely just compared me to Hitler. Can you guys remember that fact when you watch the final minutes of this video?
So at this point, if they really are as confident as they claim to be about the indisputability of their theoretical heliocentric model, then why exactly are they still wasting their time here? Is it their absolute hatred of God?
I think you need to look up the definition of an atheist, because it's hard to hate something you think doesn't exist.
This indeed has become a spiritual war.
You idiots made it a war. Just ask Mr. Flat Earth Offensive D. Marble.
All I can really say is that we are seeing what our Holy Father wants us to see, what he wants us to experience.
Ah, I see. So, in the wise words of Cool Hard Logic, but my holy book!
And what we're experiencing is a flat earth.
No, it's really not, you fucking idiot.
Fights upward towards loftier goals, while the other pulls everyone it gets a hold of down into spiritual emptiness, existential meaninglessness, and eternal suffering.
And as for who drags who down, how about you show me one scientific advancement or one contribution to society that any flat earther has ever made?
They are but scared children, emotionally stunted by fear, embarrassingly reliant upon the warm, validating teat that is society's approval.
See, I know he's probably too stupid to understand the irony of what he just said there, considering his name is Validation Boy. You guys could go and explain it to him, or even better, let's go to the remedial classroom. Welcome to the Classroom Validation Boy. Before you meet the rest of the class on Monday, I'd like to go over some basics with you. So, if you can pay attention to the board and repeat after me. Instead of edge, say horizon. Instead of movie set, say moon landing. Instead of fisheye lens, say curvature. Instead of dropity, say gravity. Instead of fake continent, say Australia. Now, frankly, Mr. Boy, I've seen the record from your last school and I can't see you being around for long, so unless you buck your ideas up, you have no future. Take the weekend to think about things. So he has compared me to Hitler, insulted my intelligence and my integrity, called me a liar, said I'm faking my disability, threatened to false flag me for copyright. You know what? This is my, and the community that I am part of, response. Enjoy.
Hey, Fight the Flat Earth. What's up, man? What's up with this guy, dude? You know what? I have a message for him. So if you would be so kind to send it.
Yeah, I'll pass the message on, man.
Read the lines. Read inside your tiny mind. Now read a bit louder. Cause you're so uninspired. We're so sick and tired of all the hatred you vow for. So you say that Fight the Flat Earth's not okay. Well, I think that's just bullcrap. You're just some kind of racist. Let's all just face it. Your twisted thoughts are medieval. So fuck you very, very much. Cause I hate what you do, and I hate your crew. So please don't stay in touch. Fuck you very, very much. Cause your words don't translate, and the earth's still oblate. So please don't be a twat. Do you get a tiny dick out of being slow-minded? You want to be like the other. It's approval you're after. Well, this is not how you'll find it. Do you enjoy spreading lies which are meant to be hateful? Cause you're a a-hole to me. It's hurting me deeply, and it's really untasteful.
I was informed of that.
So fuck you very, very much. Cause we hate what you do, and we hate your whole crew. So please don't stay in touch. Fuck you very, very much. Cause your words don't translate, and the earth's still oblate. So please don't be a twat. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. You say you think we need to go to war. Well, you're fighting your own one. Cause it's people like you who don't have a clue. No one wants your opinion. Fuck you very, very much. Cause we hate what you do, and we hate your crew. So please don't stay in touch. Fuck you very, very much. Cause your words don't translate, and the earth's still oblate. So please don't be a twat. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Y'all could just go fuck yourselves.
Jebot TBR.
Validation Boy, you've been smashed. This has been an amazing week so far, guys, but it's not over. Tomorrow I'm on the Non Sequitur show for a long time, and then Sunday I've got a comments show to finish off the week. If you like this, then please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed and get the notification bell on so you know as soon as I've got content out. Thanks to all my subscribers, and an extra massive thanks to all my patrons. You guys are amazing. And remember, stupidity is not right. Fight the flat earth.
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun